You're listening to Handy at the Shandy, a Las Vegas podcast. I am joined by Table Game James and Boring Jack. This is Adam the Fraud, and this is episode 28, part 1. And we got some feedback based on kind of some grumblings that we did last episode about how maybe these trip reports are going a little too long. Maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours is not where we should be. We're probably boring people to death, but said we got some feedback. So up first is from Sean Wilson. He says, listening to the latest episode about Table Games James's trip with his dad was great. Biblically long, agreed there, but great nonetheless. I have so many fond memories of Vegas trips with my own dad, and I really enjoyed hearing about their adventures. That's great. I like that first part of the email. Just dad trips in general can be fun. I'm going on with one with my dad soon. I said it was also interesting hearing him mention Planet Hollywood and Flamingo in a positive light. I'd become a sworn MGM guy, but I really enjoyed the Caesars properties on my last trip. We played quite a bit of 3-2 double-deck blackjack at Planet Hollywood with $25 minimums.
That's not bad.
We also played blackjack at Flamingo with similar rules and had the absolute best dealer of our entire trip. Her name was Alma, and she kept the game fun the entire time. We even played at the $15 Baccarat table at Paris. It wasn't a squeeze game, but it was still a lot of fun playing alongside my wife and sister. And he also goes on to talk about how, good dealers can be really good and really makes the game, but detached or unpleasant dealers can really be kind of annoying and generally kind of kill the vibe at the table. But any comments on Sean's statements there? It makes me maybe interested in visiting a Caesars property, being also a sworn MGM guy. But what are your thoughts?
I mean, I couldn't agree more about the dealers. I think the thing you have to keep in mind when you're in Vegas is that you don't have to stay at the table you're at, right? Maybe it is the only $25 double deck 3-2 table at Planet Hollywood, but you can go somewhere, it's not worth just kind of getting in a bad mood over it, right? And so
yeah, fair.
Seeking out the good dealers and then sticking with them is something we found. And we've even found hey, if we have a craps dealer that we particularly like, we'll go over to Venetian when we know she's on shift and, go play a game over there. I'm thinking of Barb that we've played with Josh Duffy and stuff a few times.
And I don't know if I really spoke about Planet Hollywood and Flamingo in a positive light outside of that they had the games we were looking for. I think that's where that positive light stopped.
That sometimes is my only, criterion other than the cocktail service, right? It's they have the games I want to play. So
and a good dealer. I think it's funny too, or maybe more fascinating, that you get different personalities of dealers based on where they're from, and sometimes you might jive with the dealer and another person doesn't. I remember being at playing Pai Gow at Park, and the dealer was from Chicago, so he had me being from Chicago,
so he was a dick.
Yeah, he was he had this Midwestern sarcastic feel to him. And I'm used to that. I grew up with that even in my own family. So I was vibing with him. It was just kind of fun bantering back and forth. But I was sitting with somebody who's not from the Midwest and just didn't get the same vibe and was actually kind of annoyed with him. So it's interesting how different people can like different dealers or just, like I said, have a certain vibe about the game. So I understood why they wanted to leave. You're not used to that. But I was having a good time.
Yeah, just like some people like certain bartenders and other people can't stand them. I get it.
Exactly. Right. We also got feedback from, and I apologize if I mispronounced your name, Ophir Klein. Says, love your show. I'm happy with the 1.5 hour episode from last time. Try to keep it this long. I need it for my daily afternoon training. And any guesses what they're training for?
Probably listening to Vegas podcasts.
It's CIA torture.
I always did feel this way when I do want a particularly long episode for going on a walk or whatever long drive I have or something, and then the hosts are well, we wouldn't want to keep you any longer, we've got more content, but I guess we're going to wrap it up. And I'm no, fuck you, no.
When I used to do the podcast solo, I would say I want to keep it within 20 to 30 minutes for people who have a standard drive time, but really that was just me being lazy is all it was. It wasn't I was doing any SEO or advanced research. It was just my own malaise after. But thank you for the positive feedback. Next one is from anonymous guy who James met at Bar Luca, who I'm just going to assume is James, because they said they love the 1.5 hour long trip report. Tell Boring Jack a 90-minute trip report is great. Now you claim they have an actual name and they're a real person.
Yes, this was Ryan who came by. It was great because Table Games Kim and I were hanging out. He came up and he's like, "Hey, I just wanted to let you know to tell Boring Jack that 90-minute trip report's great and you don't need to shorten them."
Well, you heard it, you audience, you guys heard the shortened version after I edited out like, a few minutes of miscellany and a bunch of other crap. So
that is true.
Well, this next person also left feedback, and this also feels like a fake name for this podcast. James Adams.
I thought that was great because
yes.
you gave someone so much props last week for being named Adam that they clearly are now just pandering. So
we're just getting fake names. Yes, Boring James Adams would be a great name. Says your trip reports are awesome. Don't try to cut them short just to fill the imaginary 1 hour goal. Great content. We appreciate that. And we have heard your feedback. And we're going to try and shorten it this week. I'm going to be completely honest with you. We appreciate everything that all of you have said, but Jack and James are actually in Vegas at the same time. And in the interest of time, I'm sure this is going to still go long, but we're going to try and truncate it a little bit. Maybe take out some of the more boring stuff. And James, we're just going to get started with you. This is where I can leave my hosting duties, take a step back, and go do whatever it is I need to do. But you were in Vegas before Jack, so we're going to start with you.
Listen, I don't think any of it's boring, all right? I think talking about how from the airport, from the drive to the airport, all that stuff's very, very interesting. I believe that's what the people want to hear. Now, I actually will start before we get to Vegas.
Yes.
There's a couple of things that I need to say because they'll come up later. Well, this first one's not going to come up later, but I
it's
just
like
want
a Tarantino film. We're going back and forth in the time. Yeah, okay.
Wait, he's starting at the start, and you're comparing it to a Tarantino film because there's foreshadowing?
Yeah, there's probably no other director that's ever used foreshadowing.
I did change my flight to get in 3 hours earlier, which I suggest everyone do because that was an awesome.
Wait, is this something about later?
This is no, that one's not about later. I just wanted to mention it to brag.
What's the Chekhov's gun you're going to bring up right now? Or James's gun. There, we'll use a literary term.
When I was in line in DC to fly to Vegas, there was a guy standing in line 1, group 1. I was standing in group 2.
But he really was in group 7, but he's just one of those people.
Who probably. And there were 3 women who were waiting to get on for pre-boarding because one of them was on like a scooter. And they were just talking normally about their excitement about going to a bachelor party in Las Vegas. It was not annoying at all. He looked me in the eye and did the little motion with his hand like they're gabbing and was going blah, 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 blah. And I didn't know what to do. So I just looked down at my phone and started texting. I'm just saying that because it's going to come up later. He ended up sitting in my row and my wife was like, well, what'd you do? What'd you say? Did you stand up? I was like, no, I just fucking ignored him because I didn't want to get into an altercation at the airport.
You seem to bring about like people feel comfortable confiding in you about like racist things, like
they do.
Annoying women. Like you seem to just have a vibe that puts out like you were at the Capitol.
To be clear, Adam, though, these were just women.
Excuse me, yes.
Just women. But, that's all we're going to talk about before the trip. I did get to Vegas, and since I was staying downtown at the Plaza, I decided to take rideshare this time instead of a taxi cab because cabs was $60 a few weeks ago when I was there with my dad. It was $35 with tip taking rideshare. So I am going to, off of my huge sample size of 1 each, is I'm going to say that you should take rideshare going down to the downtown area. But who knows? Maybe I got a good deal.
That's one of the things I wanted to talk about really quickly was, do you guys change your tip at all if the driver like pre-complains about not getting good tips or having people that don't tip, or like gives you like a story about how little money they're making while you're driving? Like, does that change your tip at all? Because I feel like I want to like tip less because that's a highly annoying practice, but I sometimes I can't bring myself to do that. I don't know.
I don't think I've ever had this happen to you.
Me.
No. So you're a person people confide in to complain about their tips. Maybe it's because they think you're not going to tip.
Well,
like
that's
homeless guy with long hair getting in.
Well, I guess it hasn't happened to me in the couple trips since I cut my hair. So no, maybe I don't know. I feel like I've definitely, this has happened to me multiple times where you're getting an Uber and you're like, oh yeah, no one's tipping today. I just had this person and they did all that and they didn't tip. That's crazy, right? And you're just like, right. And then, I don't know.
Well, let's make it 5.
That has happened to me once when I I forget where I was coming from, but I was going to M Resort for right after during the birthday trip when we were going from the Strip to M. And about halfway there, the guy's like, "Oh yeah, not a lot of people have been tipping today," and I'm like, I don't know. I'm usually just clicking the 15% button on my rideshare app.
You're just doing same old. You're not falling for it, but you're not punishing them for it.
Yeah, on cabs, I will usually just round up to whatever's easiest. Like if it's a really quick ride, it's like $10, like 10, 15. I'm probably just giving a 20 and just getting out of the cab, to be honest.
I only brought this up. I had kind of the opposite experience actually coming from the airport where I gave the guy a decent tip. And then after I gave him the tip, he was like, "Oh, thank you so much." It was like a nightmare at the airport where we were just sitting there for a long time and no one was coming up and I haven't been making any money or whatever. And so I really appreciate this. And I was like, "Oh, cool. I'm really glad you didn't like try to sell me with that before I got out of the car or whatever, because I've had that happen so many times."
Yeah.
But anyways,
what would have been great is if you said, "Oh, actually, can I get my change?" All right. So got into Plaza and it was adequate. Check-in was great. I ended up getting the mini suite upgrade like we talked about. However, I went to take a shower and the shower was freezing cold. It did not warm up until I got out of the shower like 15 minutes later. Like I was texting you guys, like, I don't know when this water is going to get warm, but I want to get to gambling. So
we're biting our nails here at home.
I knew it was going to warm up. I know sometimes you just have to wait. So
it's like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It was awful. I went down to the floor and had an email from Jonathan Jossel or his team that was like, "I'd love to meet you. You're coming in," et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we had a nice short conversation, like 5 minutes, asking me how things were. I said, "Everything's great so far, except the water did not turn hot for 10 minutes. And he was like, 10 minutes is a long time. You're better than me. I would have complained." And I'm like, it's fine. But like, come on, dude, like, let's fix that.
You didn't tell him, "Oh, it's the Plaza."
It's the Plaza. No, it's expected.
The thing I've noticed about him, though, he will take that stuff on the chin. Like he's not going to shy away from it or be like, push it under the rug. Like he'll hear it out and not, like said, like not dismiss anything.
That's good.
He asked which room I was in, which floor when I said that. So I don't know. He had his VP of operations, Gary, or something there. Maybe he was telling him to take some notes. But I did notice that after he met with me, he was going around and talking to a lot of the dealers, a lot of the pit bosses, just like saying, "Hey, how's it going?" I saw him later on that night too, after I'd had a few drinks. And that's when I told him he needs to get Ultimate X on the bar tops. Because since this is an Ultimate X podcast, I will say all of the bar tops at Plaza just have single line, a good single line, like 50 cents. You can play 8-5 bonus poker. Like it's great video poker there, but just single line.
What was his response to that?
He said, "Are you sure we don't have any?" And I was like, "I checked, I think everything." He's like, "Oh yeah, I know we have some on the floor." And that was it. I do remember I was walking by him and he just pointed at me. He's like, "There he is." I'm like, "Okay, so you don't know my name, which is fine."
You need to get more Ultimate X at the bar tops.
That's pretty much what happened. Yeah, and then that night, really all I did was walk over to Circa after gambling a little bit at Plaza and went to 8 East. Duffy was 45 minutes late for that dinner. I'm not going to spoil why, because I'm sure he's going to talk about that on his pod. But
sign up for their pod at patreon.com/crapvegas.
Exactly.
Actually, sign up for our Patreon. We'll see if we can steal it and put it on ours.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, that's what we should do. We really should do that. Everyone talks about how great it is. I thought it was good, but I wasn't like, "Oh man, this is the best food I've ever had," which I feel like a lot of people rave about. And I had the short rib, rice, whatever that was.
Brisket fried rice.
Yeah, that's the one. That's what it was. I had that. I mean, it was
the
good.
Short rib stir fry. Yeah, the famous one.
But I was like, it's just fine. But you know how I am with food, so maybe that's just me.
I think the thing is that their food is so different than like anything else that downtown had to offer. Like every restaurant at every downtown place is like either some sort of like steakhouse that's decent, or it's like a fast casual American concept. And that feels like most of what you got until really recently. And so I think 5.5 years ago, when Circa opened, this was actually a big deal.
Gotcha. Yeah. This is the first time I was there. It was fine. It was good. But that's it. That's all I'm going to get. That's all you're going to get out of me.
The foodie has spoken.
The foodie has spoken with it. I'd go back. Unlike Saginaw's, I would not go back. Next day was more downtown. So stayed at Plaza for 2 nights. So the second day, woke up early, went down to El Cortez to play a little bit of video poker, but also I got the haircut and the shave at their barbershop, the Speakeasy Barbershop, which they just opened up a second location in Palms, they were telling me.
Oh, interesting. So it's not it's not an El Cortez run establishment. They're a tenant. Interesting.
No, Damien cut my hair. It's $110 and it's 90 minutes. So it's a full haircut, full shave, but also there was a lot of hot towels on my face with some one. He asked me if I was allergic to any essential oils, and I said, we'll find out. Like, I don't know. I haven't tried them all.
I haven't done the essential oils test at the doctor yet.
Exactly. But there was, some face massages. It was great. Full 90 minutes. It was better than expected. It's cheaper than the Cosmo one. Which
I would hope
think
so.
It's like $145, and I think a better experience. So I will go back if it's on my haircut cycle, which lately has been.
Is El Cortez, you think, worth a standalone visit? Because like for my next trip, I'm like, I maybe want to go downtown. Do we think it's worth making a special trip for? I mean, I know they've got the big redo and all that. Like, if I'm staying South Strip, which I am, my upcoming trip, is it worth making the journey, you think, just for a couple hours to check out?
The pay tables in the high limit room are outstanding. We went there on Friday night after our dinner at 8 East, and the place was really busy. Like, I was pretty shocked at how busy Fremont Street was at 10 p.m. And El Cortez was like packed, except for the high limit bar. There's 4 seats. It was completely empty. So I think if you're going down, you want to play at a high limit bar at 25 cents with the best Ultimate X pay tables. Sure. I don't think I would make an extra trip just to go to El Cortez, but if I was downtown, I think every time I'm downtown, I'm going to stop in there to play.
Cool.
I am going to make an extra trip there, in that for my upcoming trip, normally when I go with my old work friends, we do a couple nights downtown before moving to the Strip. And we talked about this last year, but we're going to do El Cortez this year almost certainly, and give their hotel rooms a try. And mostly because I'd heard about the good Ultimate X pay tables. And so I might put some real play in there.
Look at us moving away from Cosmo.
Well,
yeah, we'll see. James, despite all other planning, ended up back at Cosmo this trip.
And thank God I did. Really, kind of the rest of that day was just hanging out at Circa with listener Marilyn and Josh Duffy from Crap Vegas. The Ultimate X pay tables are not great until you get to dollars or above. They don't have any bonus poker Ultimate X, and it's 7-5 for double bonus.
Oh my God!
I played a lot of like random games at quarters, so super times pay, double super times pay, spin poker at times. So I really wasn't winning a lot or losing a lot those first 2 days downtown. In fact, just to spoil it, so I have the actual numbers in, after day 1, I was down $682. And then after day 2, I was down $904. So when I left the downtown area, I was down $900 for 2 days of gambling in Vegas, and I was happy with that. So really, that's all we did was play at Overhang Bar and hang out until we had dinner at Barry's. This is my first time at Barry's, and again, I've heard lots of great things about the steakhouse. Shocker, Foodie's going to say it was fine. And actually, I think it was below expectation. I felt that my steak was a little dry, and I also didn't get any of the sauces. So the au poivre or whatever that Josh loves. I just felt like it was not as good of a steak for the price that I could have gotten elsewhere, because it's like your standard Vegas steakhouse prices. So like I had a better experience at Hugo's Cellar downtown. I would probably go back there first before I went back to Barry's. The sides were pretty good. I did like the sides, the Brussels sprouts or asparagus, whichever one I got. So you can't even remember what it was. That's how great they were. And we had some good wine, and the company was great. So it was a good meal, but I wasn't wowed, which there will be 2 more meals on this trip that I was wowed for sure.
Can't wait to get to the wow meals.
I do think Barry's, though, I think certainly one of the top 5 steaks I've had in Vegas.
Okay.
Was there at Barry's.
Interesting.
I really liked their rib cap.
Okay.
So
maybe I don't remember which one I got. Whatever the smallest one was.
Our first fight.
We've had lots of them. But that night, it was an early to bed night because we had a good friend coming in the next day. Well, I guess my good friend was already there at this point.
Yeah, I got in and I played at Resorts World a bit. I'm trying to think what all I need to talk about before we get to the next day. I guess one thing that happened at the airport that was kind of fun. I have to sneak in an airport bit here as well.
Of course you do.
I'm not even going to talk about the infuriating stuff that happened at the airport because it will just make me mad. But I was flying Sun Country. And if you want to know how that goes, you can just listen to the tone of my voice. But as we were waiting to like get on the plane,
these two ladies in scooters were just yapping and yapping.
Yeah, no,
turned around.
I was like, I need to find the closest guy to me and let him know that I don't like women. You know how sometimes when you're waiting to get on the plane, you can't tell whether you're waiting behind people that are waiting to get on the plane or whether you're waiting behind people that are waiting for it to be their turn to get on the plane, but they want to hover as close as possible.
Yeah.
So I was in that kind of spot, but they had already called all rows, all zones. And so it's really just like, we should be getting on the plane. The gate agent also seemed to think that we should be getting on the plane and had a bit of kind of an exasperated tone, like, people coming to Vegas, you should be, come up to the podium and get on the plane.
Sounds like me as a parent.
well,
getting my kids in the truck.
Well, that was the issue, is that there was just a battalion of children that were barricading the entrance. Like between where all the people that were trying to get on the plane were and where the podium was, there was just like this line of kids. And they were all like ages 8 to 12. They each had a suitcase that was as big as they were. And it wasn't just like a smattering of kids. This was like a Roman phalanx of kids and suitcases set up to keep you apart from the desk. So the fact that like the woman's like, come on, get on the plane, people. We're just like, we literally will have to trample some tweens in order to do it. I don't know. There were way more kids on this Sun Country flight than I've seen on any other flight to Vegas. So, and it's not even that much cheaper. So I don't know what these families are on about, but that's my pre-flight, pre-trip Sun Country experience.
Oh, I can't wait to have a pre-experience.
Did you watch the Louis Theroux documentary on the way there?
I did.
Me too.
It was great.
Did you show it to the kids?
See, kids, this is who you don't want to turn out like. But I got to Resorts World. I was, like I said, I was booked there for 2 nights, but really only intending to use it for that first night before I moved over to Palazzo. And in the morning, we indeed met up with James and Duffy at Palazzo to play a bit of Bar Luca before doing our strip walk.
And what time did we meet up at, Jack?
I think we met up right around 7:30. I saw a couple guys walking by towards the guest elevators.
Wait, how could they have gotten in their room at 7:30 a.m.?
Well, one of them must be a real VIP. You would imagine that's how they got in, right, James?
Exactly. The VIP, meaning me with my lowly Ruby status, just walked up thinking I was going to have to check my luggage, and they're like, oh, here's a room. Now, it was only on the 8th floor, and it was the furthest room away from the elevators, but to be ready at 7:30 in the morning the day you're checking in was awesome. And the actual VIP, the diamond level Duffy, because he was booked and needed to go into the VIP lounge to get his stuff, they couldn't service him at all. They were like, sorry, you have to come back when it opens at 8. Like, we can't do anything right now.
Ooh. I had this I thought this was so funny because I had this exact same thing happen to me where like I got COVID and I'm sitting in bed at home and I'm ill and I'm trying to change my Vegas reservation I have coming up because I won't be able to make it. And I call them at like, I don't know, 8 Pacific. So it's like 10 a.m. my time. And they were like, oh, it shows here that you're like a VIP gold status with here at MGM. So you have to call the VIP line. I was like, okay. And they were like, but it's not open for another hour. And I was like, well, can't you just help me with that? And they're like, no, you have to go through VIP services. And I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll call back in an hour. They're like, you're so important to us, we can't help you for another hour. So I just love they did the exact same thing to Duffy in person at the Palazzo. I adore that sort of thinking.
But I love it's a good idea, like, or just a good reminder to people, like, you don't have to wait till 4 o'clock. I don't even know when it is. Is it 4 traditionally?
Sure.
4 o'clock?
Yeah, 3 or
you don't
4.
have to wait. I'll see people like literally wait and get in line. The line gets huge. Like, just go try it. The worst they could say is no. Sometimes like Caesars might try and charge you extra, but it's been rare that I've been asked to be charged extra, or that I haven't even gotten a room. Like more often than not, it's actually worked.
Oh, one thing I'll say though to front desk agents, because I checked in at a normal time at Palazzo. We came over there closer to like 3, and I went to check in. You don't need to tell me the things that I'm not getting. Like, you can just tell me, oh, you're on the 34th floor and you have a sphere view. You don't need to be like, oh, we were going to try to get you on like a high floor, but those ran out. And then we were going to try to get you a strip view, but I don't really see anything here.
Right.
So best I can do is it looks like I can get you a sphere view and the 34th floor. And I'm like, well, that sounds great. You don't need to tell me that it actually sucks, right? Like,
right.
Anyways, but otherwise, good check-in experience at the Palazzo, and did have a nice room when I checked in, moved my stuff over from Resorts World later that day. What do we have on this morning walk? I guess the two things, I did get Duffy and James to go all the way down to Mandalay Bay with me, and then walk all the way back up to Tacos El Gordo for lunch. So that's a nice, hefty walk. Given that Tacos El Gordo is at the Resorts World latitude, just past Encore there. The two things I said I want to make sure we see on this walk, because I don't know how far south we're going to get otherwise, is the new high limit room at the Cosmo, the high limit slot room at the Cosmo. We had heard that it had just opened. And I wanted to see the new Bellagio conservatory, because on my last summer trip, they were in the middle of the like tear down of the previous one. And so I hadn't gotten to see it. And so I had a couple questions about that for you guys, mostly for Adam, just trying to keep him engaged with.
No, you don't have to do that.
Adam, what do you think makes a good versus bad, or good versus not memorable, like Bellagio conservatory display?
Oh, great question. One, we don't need facsimile Bruno Mars portrait made out of roses. And I like Bruno Mars, but that was just weird when they did that. But I think
number 2. Oh, that was the first thing.
That's just one thing that you don't need. Okay. Other than that, I think it just needs to be dynamic. I think it's what makes like a good room, where lots of layers, lots of moving parts, just things moving around. It feels, I would say immersive. That's such a cheat word.
You want animatronics, kinetic sculptures.
I want it all. Yes. I want it to feel full. Because there's been times where it's like, maybe it wasn't in the budget, or kind of their creative capacity was just limited in that particular quarter, which I get, or that season. Then there's been times where it's like, no. Someone went all out. They said yes to everything. It was just, things are spinning and going back and forth. And you know what I mean?
I love that it just keeps coming back to whether or not things are just physically moving.
Are things moving? Yeah.
Step 1, no Bruno Mars. Step 2, things just need to be moving.
Yeah. We don't need celebrity homages. We just need things moving in there, including people. Get them out.
And then the next question becomes, what do we think makes a good high limit slot room, other than that it has a video poker bar in it? Because this one does not. I'm kind of wondering, what would you do designing like a brand new high limit slot area, or rejiggering one?
Maybe I'm in the wrong here, and I'm going to go completely against the grain. I want it to be a little bit brighter than the regular floor. I do want it secluded, because I don't like the high limit rooms that are just kind of open air. Like it just feels like it's still part of the regular casino. Almost feeling like, what is it? Privé right off of the Bellagio floor. That's not a high limit room, but that little lounge that's in there. I want it like that, where it's somewhat secluded. It's still pretty bright in there. They've got a really nice kind of center bar, or just a bar that kind of attracts people in. I don't care about table games that much, but I guess you're probably going to want to have a couple in there to keep it lively.
Well,
but
that's the next question I have, so we'll get to that. But
I don't think you need one. I think table games people, for the most part, spare maybe some baccarat players, are fine being on the floor at a table. So it's basically doing the opposite of whatever Aria has done with their high limit room. We're just so confined. It's just so unsexy. It just feels like a little cave. Like, open it up, make it feel fun, lively, easy to navigate around the slot machines. I would almost feel like if Resorts World shrunk their high limit area a little bit and made it feel more private, because you got like the slots over in like the other side, but they're cool. And I like the way that they're set up kind of around each other. They got like little TVs on them. It's like if you took that idea and just made it smaller, combine that with the bar top video poker, That to me would be like a perfect room.
Well, so I was going to ask James, what do you think in general about the high limit slots rooms and table games rooms being either combined or separate? Because that very concept kind of came up on Vegas Matt recently, and I'll talk about that in a bit.
Well, I don't play any high limit slots, so I don't know if I'm the right person to.
Well, I don't play any high limit tables.
That is true. I play higher limit video poker, but still not like high limit. I have more experience with food, which is saying a lot when it comes to playing high limit slots. I think it can't be so. I wouldn't want it to be so secluded that the energy gets sucked out of it, because sometimes I feel like you can go into high limit rooms with or without tables and it just feels like the energy is completely sucked out of it. I feel like when I'm in the Aria, yeah, definitely Aria. Although, because those machines in the cave at Aria are so close together, and some people have the sound up so high, the volume up so high, that it still has like it's overstimulating, I think.
It's a nightmare in there.
Yeah, I agree. Which is also kind of the first time you and I ever hung out was in there. So that's probably why you have a bad taste in your mouth.
It's a testament to our friendship that I sat in there that long with you.
Wow.
So, I think a high limit area is better than just a small high limit slot room, but maybe I'm in the minority there.
Well, how often do we actually see people playing the table games in these rooms? We've spent a decent amount of time in these high limit rooms. I can't tell you the last time I saw somebody. Maybe in the Resorts World area for sure, but that almost just feels like like I said, the part of the main casino almost. Because
people are playing at the Palazzo one pretty regularly.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong then.
I mean, it's not full like the casino floor is, but there might be a smattering of people across the various open tables, right?
Okay.
Because I was kind of asking because Vegas Matt was kind of hyping up Fontainebleau's new changes to their high limit slot area, which is including opening it up and making it passable to go between the high limit slot area and the existing high limit table games area. And he was like, we're calling this doorway, it's going to be the Vegas Matt archway, because I said we need to make it so you don't have to go through the main casino to go between those two rooms, because slot players want to play tables, table players want to play slots. And I think that is maybe more true now, but it was very much not kind of part of the way casinos were designed for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Anyways, all this is to say, what?
You're not going to give your opinions on the Bellagio?
The Bellagio.
The conservatory, the big ass elephants that were there.
Yeah. Sorry, we got past conservatory like 30 minutes ago. I thought the Bellagio one was fine. I didn't have anything kind of here nor there about it.
I don't think anything was moving, so Adam might not like it.
Nothing was moving in there.
Yeah,
I'm about to skip it.
Pretty static display, but yeah, no, the new Cosmo slot area is kind of as you'd expect. It was very interesting to see that all the video poker machines in there are just very clearly the exact same machines they had before, because they have a handful of those weird upright ones that only play one game. Like there's one cabinet that only has Ultimate X bonus streak, and you can play 3, 5, or 10 line, and those are the 3 buttons you get when you choose your game and stuff like that. So it's just kind of like still some kind of antiquated stuff in there that I thought maybe would have been moved out, but definitely an improvement based on what they had there before, given how important these high limit slot rooms are becoming to casinos' bottom lines.
I do remember a time on the walk where we were just chatting, which was probably, honestly, the most fun I had this whole weekend until I got to Cosmo later. Spoiler alert, foreshadowing. Was when we were just kind of walking down the strip, just bullshitting a lot. And I was talking about how my company started doing some SAT tutoring, and Jack was like, I got a perfect score on the SAT or whatever. Since Jack is super smart. And I was talking about our tutoring right now about semicolons and like the English side of things. And Josh says, I live for the semicolon.
And I think he was serious about that. I think that was more true than joking, but
it was definitely more true than joking. And so he goes, I live for the semicolon. Right as we're walking by a homeless dude, and as we're walking by him, all I hear in the background is him go, me too. and then we walk into Caesars or wherever.
So I'm with him on that though. As a writer, that semicolon is it's definitely part of my portfolio.
It's always great when you can be muttering more like inane and insane things than
it's how
the
old
guy
is.
who's heckling you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But we actually ended up not getting all the way to Tacos El Gordo. Duffy and I peeled off so I could go take a shower at Palazzo. And Duffy's like, oh, I'm just going to play a little bit at the bar while you're going upstairs to shower. So I quickly shower. I come down and he has a cocktail like that he just got. And I'm like, we're supposed to go meet Jack for lunch. He's like, oh, I guess I'll just finish this espresso martini real quick. I just have a couple more thousand to play through in this machine. I'm like, come on, Duffy, we got to get going.
For the record, I also did shower before lunch, but
yeah, good. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Tacos El Gordo. So I dragged you and Duffy there because I said it's the best and it's near where I'm staying and where I want to play. So we're going to go there. What was your take?
I really liked it. So this is better than just saying fine, right?
No, it's fine.
It's fine. No, I had a sopas and a taco, and it was great. I really liked it. And, with those two things and a soda and a Diet Coke to get a little bit of caffeine in, since, there's no Red Bull at Bar Luca, but
no
we
one
won't go
got
there
an
again.
espresso martini.
And no one got me an espresso martini. I don't really like coffee, but either way, $20. I was like, yes, let's go. Let's have lunch for $20. It was quick, in and out. 2 thumbs up for me for Tacos El Gordo.
It is very nice how quickly you can get from Resorts World High Limit to there, stuff your face, and get back to gambling, which is mostly what I did.
Yeah, I had a great session. I
even tried to get James to leave, and then in the brief period where he was debating whether he should actually or no, let me start this over. James wanted to leave the Resorts World bar, and I was trying to get people to stay a bit longer. And in the brief period of discussing whether or not he was going to leave imminently, he won another $500. Each time he was like, I really should just go right now. And then continued to play. He would just win $500 at a time.
Yeah, I think what happened was I bought in for 1,000 and went up to 1,500 real fast. And I was like, oh, I'm not staying here. Why the heck am I playing here? I should go back and be putting this money through Venetian Palazzo where I'm staying. We would debate back and forth. And then I'd look down and I was up another 500 and my ticket was up to 2,000. And I had the same conversation with him. And then we made a compromise because Jack was like, we should leave at 3:45, and I was like, I think I'm going to leave now. And then Jack's like, what if we leave at 3:15? And we had a negotiation back and forth. And then by the time we left, my ticket was up to 2,500, and I won $1,500 at this. And I didn't have anything. I was only quote unquote. I was playing 50 cents bonus poker, so there's no kickers or anything coming into play there. I think I might have gotten aces only once. It really wasn't a huge run, but it was just 4 of a kind here, 4 of a kind there, a little bit of kicker here. Flush on a full house on a flush. So it was a nice. Great session.
So you say you weren't playing a kicker game. That reminds me, I think we should talk a bit about the side bet that we settled on. Because I had, we kind of talked about what we might do when it comes to doing this kind of build the pot style side bet last week. And I got some good input from friend of the pod, Ryan, on how to make it, more fair. And I think the number one kind of advancement that he came up with or that he put forth that makes it so that there's no way to game the system is that you make it so it doesn't matter who hits the hand in question. Right. So the way we did that is we assigned each of us a card. James has 4s, I've got 3s, and Duffy has 2s. And then that way, and we can go into the specifics in a bit, but that way, when something happens with 2s, Duffy either pays in or wins. Or if the same thing happens with 3s, I'm on the hook, and then James for 4s. And then that way, as long as you're not actively trying to cheat the bet and playing your hands differently based on your cards, then it doesn't really matter who's playing single line, who's playing 3 line, that kind of stuff. Because let's say James decides, I'm going to play 10 line on this session. Well, he's just as likely to get 2s on his 10 lines as he is 3s or 4s. And so as long as it's completely independent of who's hitting the hand, and all that matters is the hand that is hit by anyone, I think it solves a lot of the problems. And so that was a really good insight.
Yeah, and I think it needs to be 2 things. The first thing is it needs to be independent of speed, right? If someone's playing faster or if someone's playing slower. And then 2, independent of who hits it and if everyone's playing or not. Because as we'll get to, the last time it settled up, I was the only one left in Vegas. So I just had to keep going until I settled this up. And this is the first time where we really started playing it, because that morning we kind of messed around a little bit at Bar Luca to kind of figure out, like, is this the right amount of money or is this not? And when we started playing for real, the three of us at Resorts World, pretty much like Jack said, I had 4s, Jack had 3s, and Duffy had 2s. And if we were dealt 3 of a kind, so on the initial dealt, that person owed $10.
So if you contribute to the pot $10
right.
if anyone gets dealt 3 of your card.
Right. So if Jack gets dealt 3 4s, I would have to put $10 into the pot.
Okay.
And then if anybody gets 4 of a kind, you have to actually put $20 into the pot. So for example, if I were to get dealt 3 3s and then get turn one of those into 4 of a kind, then Jack would actually owe $30 to the pot. 10 for the dealt 3 of a kind, 20 for getting the 4 of a kind.
So that's how the pot grows. Those are the only 2 situations under the pot grows. Dealt 3 of a kind or any 4 of a kind. But the way you win the pot is if someone gets 4 of a kind of your quad with the kicker. So with any ace, 2, 3, or 4 with them, regardless of whether they're playing a kicker game or not.
Right? Okay.
And the first 3 or 4 times, this happened real fast. In fact, one time it happened so fast that there was no money in the pot. And so after that one, we started with a $10 a piece ante. So there would at least be $30 in the pot at the beginning.
Yeah, smart.
So we thought this was going to hit a ton of times.
The side bet was popping with $30 in the pot, $60 in the pot, $100 in the pot, $40. It was all it had a handful of pay-ins before someone would get 4 of a kind with a kicker. And I guess so-and-so scoops the whole pot. And I say whole kind of with air quotes because it was, only a few bets worth.
Yeah.
But it ultimately worked out, as you'll see from our Monday play. This was all Sunday we were at Resorts World. On our Monday play, it went on for far longer than we thought it would, which is kind of the point of these build the pot side bets, right? Is that at some point you're going to go on a dry spell for quads with a kicker, even across the 3 of us, and it's just going to build and build until it gets to a point where it's like, oh my God, who's going to hit this thing? But anyways, that was our side bet.
Yeah, it was really fun. And if anyone has any other ideas of side bets when it comes to video poker, I would love to hear them, because it really added to it.
Or slots, for that matter.
Or anything. Any sort of side bets will be fun. That night was a dinner at Cote, which was amazing. Probably the best meal I have had in Vegas in a while. Just real quick, right before dinner, when we were doing a small VP session at Bar Luca, that was when listener Chris from Seattle stopped by. So twice we were kind of recognized and people stopped by. I mean, if they know you're in town, just go to Bar Luca. They're going to find you, right? So Chris had some very nice things to say about the long trip reports that we are now doing differently. So we'll see how
we're not different at all. We're only on Sunday. We're an hour in.
But it's not the detail by detail by detail.
Yeah, we're stepping through slightly different things this time.
So Cote, what is being served at Cote?
So Cote is
we discussed Cote before on the...
Yeah, so I went with Duffy back in April or whenever. It's a Korean steakhouse. It has a big kind of fire pit at each table, like a Korean barbecue place, except they come and cook all the steaks and stuff at your table for you, rather than you being on the hook for cooking marinated meats and stuff like that. But for what was it, $90, you get the full prefix menu with a ton of sides. It comes with a little ice cream dessert that is just truly a delight. I don't know. Everything there was great. I was a huge fan.
Yeah. $95. And then, we added a few things here. I know Duffy got bacon and a few bottles of wine. When they came for the check, we were like, hey, can you split this 6 ways? And they were like, yeah, sure. You just need to give your room number. And so I gave my room number, Palazzo 836. And he's like, you got to have 4 digits. And I was like, well, all I remember is 836. I'm like, it's the 8th floor. And he's like, so is it 8836? And I'm like, I can't tell you, dude. I don't know how many times are you going to ask me what my room number is? All I have in my head is I go down this hall, since I've had it since 7:30 in the morning. I haven't I go down this hall and I go to 836. So maybe it's 8836, which it was. But
I like your incredulity. I mean, I know it's 836, bro. How's that not enough?
Well, I understood. I understood that it wasn't enough, but it's you asking me 4 more times isn't going to make me be like, you know what? Now that I remember it, it was actually 52.78. Bob, thank you for asking me 5 fucking times. This is all I know. Like, what are you going to do? Tell me that I have to pay for it, which I will. Like, just go figure it out.
This is James after some wine, both the night of and right now. Yeah.
and right now. But I almost went back the next night with Kim because Kim wasn't in yet. And I was like, oh, you're going to love this. You know, especially so much gluten-free stuff because it's basically just straight up meat and kimchi. Like that's what she loves. So the next time we're in town, we are 100% going. And I do
again, really like all their little like banchan sides and stuff. That like little scallion salad is really good. Yeah. I love all sorts of pickled radish and kimchi and stuff like that. So I was having a good time.
I think when the three of us are out there again together, we're going to have to go because
maybe I'm just really hungry. They didn't have like a photographer or anything going around.
Are there things moving in there? That's what I'm really concerned about. What's the decor like?
So we did ask what used to be there. I don't know if this is of interest to anyone on the pod, but wasn't it like a department store is what they said? Ultimately, it was like a 2-story department store.
And we were Kmart
like,
in there?
Yeah, no wonder we didn't know. Yeah. So
yeah, I don't remember at all.
It was a Montgomery Ward.
So I only have like 2 more things to mention for this Sunday night. And there's kind of a spoiler alert here that I don't really have a lot more to contribute to this trip report because I was in town for 2 days, basically Sunday and Monday. And Monday I was stuck in my room with some sort of food poisoning or other intestinal distress. So I didn't get out all that much on Monday before I left on Tuesday. So I'm gonna wrap up the Jack portion of the trip report basically here.
Oh, finally.
With the last few things on Sunday night, and then James will be at fault for any enduring length that we continue on to.
I usually am.
We're not leaving that in. That little smirk is not being left in. So yeah, after dinner, we decided it could be a good time to play a little craps session.
Woo!
There were at least a couple of spots where we could have chosen a $25 table. We came up when the guy was already kind of clearly in the middle of a decent roll. He had already been doing all right so far. We waited for him to make his point. He nailed a 5. We all got in the game. It wasn't that quick to get us all in the game, right? Like, whether or not we were taking markers or buying with our players' cards, there's 5 of us. We had Marilyn, me, Josh, and James. And just kind of the whole buying process for 4 people just takes a bit. But it was really cool to see that the shooter continued to have a decent roll. He hit at least another point and a handful of numbers after we bought in. So, we didn't rain on his parade too much, which was good. For me, I'm pretty drunk at this point. But it was a great session for me, right? Like,
oh, so good.
People talk about like, oh yeah, as long as the table's going well, it kind of doesn't matter how you're playing. Everyone's just kind of going to do well. That's what I thought was happening. And it turns out it was really just mostly me doing well and everyone else just kind of treading water. Like I was betting $25 on the line with some $25 come bets and $50 in odds, pretty standard bets, nothing that far out of the ordinary. And I won like $900 in an hour. Just off the bat of just a handful of good rolls that repeated a lot of numbers. And when we cashed out, Josh was like, I don't know, I lost like a few $100. I was like, how? But I thought this was a big vindication for us come bettors and 3-point Molly players because it seemed like it was just a very standard, decent craps table. And I made out pretty well.
Now, I won $250 on that table playing, going kind of like back and forth between when there's an odd number point playing come bets with you, and then if it's an even number point playing the even numbers. And I definitely won my money because of those rolls with the come bets, because there was a couple of times where, you hit like 4, 5, 8s in a row or within, 6 or 7 different rolls. It's gonna be pretty good. At this point, I was pretty hammered. Obviously, I'd already gone through the wine at the dinner, and I was up $1,200 on the trip because I had a great morning at Resorts World, and I was awesome. But then what happened, Jack?
Well, so after craps, we all went back to Bar Luca to just kind of put in our last nightcap session. And I say nightcap session. It was probably like 7:30 or 8 by the time we made it back to Bar Luca because dinner was at 5. We were out of dinner by like 6:30. We were done with crafts by like 7:30 or 8 for sure. So we're putting in our late night Bar Luca session at this point. And the last thing I have in my notes here is that these 4 of a kind trackers that we have that I love filling in with on pen and paper. Whenever you get a 4 of a kind, you write down what it was, what little multiplier I had on Ultimate X, all the like pageantry that goes along with it. The 4 of a kind tracker also just sometimes becomes the misery tracker because you don't really notice it as you go because you're only taking it out when something good has happened. Like, yo, you hit a 4 of a kind, let's take it out and mark something down. And so it's a piece of joy in that regard. But when you look at it the next day and you're like, okay, I never had 4 of a kind aces even once, and I played all day. I never hit a quad on any 8x, 10x, or 12x multiplier. I never even hit a quad on a single 4x multiplier. It was all
good.
1s, 2s, and 3s, and it was mostly non-premium quads, including no aces. And you're just like, oh, well, that kind of explains how things are going. I don't think I had a winning video poker set. I had one winning video poker session on the entire trip. And so other than it was that one winning video poker session, this decent crap session, and everything else was just straight losers at video poker, which was kind of a bummer. But ultimately on the trip, because I said I was going to get myself out of here, I lost $14.50 on the gambling front, which
bad.
Given that I was down about $3K at the lowest point is actually pretty good. So I don't feel all too bad about that given the luck I've had recently. And all I needed was just one royal flush like I've been doing the rest of the year, and it probably would have erased that. So
I will say that Jack's out. I will say at that last session, super late night, 8 p.m. session, we were there for like a couple of hours, and I had a $2,300 ticket from earlier that day, and it just kept going down, kept going down, kept going down, and I was under 1,000 with it. And you had been playing some double up. I had moved over to double bonus. And I thought to myself, if I get dealt 4 of a kind for $750, I'm going to double it up.
Yeah.
And like at about $500 left on this $2,300 ticket, I get dealt a straight flush, which is $750.
Double it up.
I press the double up feature. And Jack's like, oh, no way. And I did it. And the card I had to beat was an ace.
Yeah, the dealer turned over an ace immediately. It was brutal.
And I'm like, fuck. And I was like, God damn it. And so I lost $750.
It's such a poor advertisement for the beautiful game of double up.
But think about if I would have won.
Well, right. Well, that's why it's all doubling up is well. So I got Kim on the double up the next day, but she would only do it when her 3-line hand was a loser. So if she won something on her 15 credit bet, but the amount she quote unquote won was only 5 or 10 credits, that was when she saw fit to double up. She's like, well, I didn't even win. I might as well try to turn it into a winner, which I think is a perfectly fine strategy. But it definitely doesn't involve these sort of moonshot things that I, or apparently James, go for.
Yeah, I mean, again, this was after a ton of drinks, and I was up pretty big and then had lost most of my winnings. So I don't know if it was a mixture between drinks, tilt, and also I kind of said this to myself I was going to do. I was like, there's no way it's going to happen. And it did. So, it was fine.
So that's going to be on our next
later.
T-shirt. Drinks, tilt, and self-determination.
That would be a great T-shirt, actually. We might need to get that.
We foreshadowing for merchandise coming in a bit here. But James, all right, let's try to keep this under 2 hours. What do you got for us next?
We're going to try to keep it up. So I wake up on Sunday early, like 5.
Monday.
Yeah. Okay. That's Monday. Yep. Wake up Monday. I wake up like 5:30. I'm texting people. No one's up yet. So I go down to Bar Luca, and they have all the bar stools pulled out on this Monday morning, and they're like mopping it. But it doesn't seem like they're
James has never seen him clean a bar before.
No. But like, let me rephrase this.
They had some sort of disinfectant or something.
I go up to the bar. I didn't want to, mess anything up. And I'm just like, hey, can I get a water or whatever? And she's like, yeah, they're deep cleaning. And I look and they're just mopping. I'm like, this isn't deep cleaning. But it didn't matter. I was like, I'm going to let them do their thing. And so I go and I sit down by one of those machines that's, right there near where the hotel elevators are getting off and the high limit room. And there's 50-cent bonus poker there. And my 5th spin, I'm holding King Jack of clubs. And I just like hit it, not even thinking about it. I hear the sound go off. On the top line, $2,000 royal. So holding 2, my first royal of the trip. Notice how I didn't say my only royal of the trip. My first royal of the trip. And I was like, oh, I'm feeling so much better now. that was a 100% mood changer, because I had woken up being like, man, I'm an idiot. Like, I doubled up 750. I had this win after craps that I'm just like in such a good mood. Why did I not just go to bed?
At this point, you've practically forgotten about how mad you are about the deep cleaning.
Exactly. So that was great. And Kim was arriving at 1 p.m. that day. So I was even more excited because Table Games Kim was going to be joining us. That day, I just grinded that one ticket. I did not leave the Palazzo. I didn't even go over to Venetian. Like, I just did not leave Palazzo.
This is what happens when I get stuck in my hotel room, is that you and Duffy just like waste away, perhaps literally, at the video poker bar.
You know, I did take breaks though. So I went and I was playing with Marilyn and Duffy. You know, I'd hit that $2,000 hit after putting a $2,000 Tito in from my credit line. So now I have, a $4,000 ticket that I'm just going around all day with. And I would win another couple $100 or $500. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to go get some breakfast, which I got at Sugarcane and was really good. I went to Yardbird, but their like basic breakfast was like $35-$40. And I went over to Sugarcane just to look, and it was $22 for their like all American breakfast: 2 eggs, toast, potatoes, sausage. And I was like, that's very reasonable. I felt like on the Strip, there was only one other table in there. And I thought it was a really good option. So if you're looking for, not a super cheap, super fast breakfast, but a hearty breakfast for, $22 plus tip, I think that was a really good, a good spot. I then went back and played a little bit of video poker, won like another 500. That ticket was up to 3,000. And I was like, hey, I'm going to go do some work, take a nap, and wait for Kim to get here. So I did a really good job that morning of what I should have done the night before, which was like, hey, let's take a win and leave. Let's take a win and leave. But I also wasn't under the influence of like 9 cocktails and a bottle and a half of wine. So Kim got in at 1 o'clock and we just played video poker at Bar Luca. That was pretty much it. That's when listener Ryan stopped by and told us how much they love the 90-minute trip reports. This is when
for
Jack
you, Ryan.
Shout out.
This is when Jack joined us back down for a little while before dinner to play a little bit. And the side bet was starting to get up there. I think at this point in the evening, it was pushing like $400.
Yeah, we got into like $400 or $500 range. We're like, this is wild. Like, given that all the hits had been, 100 or so, 100 or less kind of thing. We're like, yeah, this is what we do that side bet for. But also, like, I don't know, we're each on the hook for roughly like $130, $150, depending on who wins. Someone's going to have to pay that. We're each going to have to pay that out to the winner. And so it's kind of like, I don't know, man, it's kind of a lot of money.
Yeah, especially if I hit something like with the kicker, and I'm playing bonus poker, I'm not even like, I'm going to lose money on doing that. So you start to get to the point where you're rooting for it not to hit.
Yeah, if you hit someone else's hand, you won't even make up for how much you've contributed to the pot with the hit.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
Well, that's why you have to switch to double-double, right?
Exactly. Which I did after dinner. Dinner was at Yardbird. I don't know, Jack, was there anything to mention about Yardbird?
I don't think so. Yardbird's just always good. Yeah. They did a good job accommodating the like gluten-free celiac situation. And I don't know.
It was pretty good. Ended up getting that completely comped off, which again, my host at Palazzo is great. We decided we'd hit high limit after that. Again, this is super early dinner, like 5 o'clock. So we were in the high limit room by like 7. And Kim told Duffy, like, you can't go to bed before 8. This is my only really day in Vegas with you guys. Which reminds me, Jack wasn't feeling well, right? He was having the food poisoning issue. And this was our like third full day, Marilyn, Josh, and I. But Kim had just gotten to Vegas after being at a bachelorette party that she had to plan. That wasn't even that fun of a bachelor party. So she's ready to
planned it.
Exactly. That's why it wasn't fun. But she's like ready to get at it. And so she's just like drinking these cocktails. She's being loud. She's excited. Like exactly what you'd expect for someone who's like, this is my one of 2 days in Vegas. And I remember at dinner, like she's having a great time. And the 4 of us are just kind of sitting there like, yeah, this is great. I think I even called it out at dinner. I'm like, you can tell the person who just got into Vegas when 3 people have just been there for 3 days. And so we ended the night in the high limit room. Jack was there.
We had a bartender, Ryan, like him a lot.
Yep.
I mean, he doesn't compare to listener Ryan, but
no.
Correct. And I get dealt 4 twos.
Mm.
And so that's Duffy, in theory, has to put in $10, but like that's almost immaterial because if James gets a kicker on any one of these lines, he's scooping the whole pot. But then we realized, well, like
up to 600 right now.
Yeah. But we're like, but actually, if he doesn't get a kicker on any line, that's the $10 from Duffy plus 20, 20, 20 for the 3 quad twos, right? Because you pay in when it gets dealt and on any quad that doesn't have a kicker. So we're like, oh, actually, wait a minute here.
But like, I'm definitely going to hit a kicker, right? Like,
yeah, you rate to hit about one, maybe. You hit a kicker on one quarter of the time, and you got 3 shots at it, right?
So all of us now are just standing behind my machine.
This is a DEF CON.
Mm-hmm. Not if, and I'm pretty sure I'm 0, 0, 0 or like 1, 1, 1 of the multipliers. Like, there's nothing that's like great about this for me. I hit it, whiff on the first one, no kicker. Whiff on the second one. We're all getting excited. Whiff on the third one. No multiplier. Duffy has to put $70 into the kitty, and Jack and I are just. I'm like going crazy when really all I did was just win like $400 or something. I think it was. It was not a huge win.
That was very exciting because I was like, I might never win a hand of video poker again, and so for me to even have a chance at recouping my losses on this trip. This is when I was down about like 3,000. I was like, I need to win this side bet at a minimum to keep myself in the game here. And so the fact that it looked like Duffy was kind of a shoe-in was very vexing for those brief seconds.
I was more excited that Duffy did not win than I was that I got dealt 4 twos playing double
absolutely
quarters. And so we just like kept playing, and I'm still on the same ticket, and I start doing well again. And then all of a sudden I'm holding 2 threes, so I'm not even thinking about it. On the middle line, I hear the like the 4 of a kind. I know it's threes, and I quickly try to cover my screen.
but I
Jack
saw
sees.
I took a victory lap on that. We'd gotten this pot up to over $900, and it just wouldn't hit. And then I nail it for 4 threes with an ace, and it was just like, whoo! Because
so pissed.
In my head, I was like, okay, so I don't actually win the full 900 because some of that was mine, right? Like James and Josh are going to pay me some amount less than that because they're not going to pay me the part I put into the pot. But then I was like, no, wait a minute. I was like, wait a minute. I did win the full 900 because I was going to have to pay out that amount if I didn't win it, right? So I did win my own money back as well. I don't know. That was great. Let's do that again.
Some of that money was hypothecated already to the pot.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
That was the word that I was taught this weekend. They were teaching me lots of words.
The other word that James learned on our walk was apoplectic.
You didn't know that word?
No, I didn't.
That one, I did try to tell him that one actually isn't that uncommon, but it's hard to know, right?
That's a ubiquitous word.
Perfect. I will say that was, even though I'd moved over to a kicker game, because at this point I was like, well, if I hit one of theirs with a kicker, I want to at least make some of that money back.
And so they don't have over to double bonus poker.
And they don't have my bonus poker. But even if we were elsewhere, I would have done it. But I had no multiplier, so I won $200, but I had to give Jack $280, and I think Duffy had to give you like $330 or something. Like,
loved it.
And then Jack starts going on a heater. I think you won like $1,000 in the high limit room after that.
That was my one winning video poker session, was that night, so that was nice.
Yeah, but it was really good. And then went to bed at 10 p.m. on a night.
I went to bed at like goddamn 8:30, but I was going through it.
Woke up on Tuesday. This is a day that I had to do a ton of work and everyone was kind of leaving. So I did a quick early morning video poker session with Josh and Marilyn. Even like Kim didn't even get out of bed. It was just the 3 of us, and lost another $2,000. So I was sad and I was going through my money, and I was actually down a little bit at this time on the trip on Tuesday. I had ended Monday being up $1,300 total on the trip. So waking up and losing it all plus some in the morning was like, so opposite of what the morning before. The morning before I hit the Royal, I'm like, yeah. This morning, I'm like, man, I just dropped money real fast. It's like Ultimate X 50 Senses is really volatile or something. I couldn't fucking believe it.
You can't go back down, can you? Like, this is just it.
He was playing Quarter Ultimate X when he wasn't playing bonus poker. So when he was playing more volatile versions of Ultimate X, he was dropping the bet down. And I was like, James, didn't know you had it in you.
Yeah, I didn't think so either.
Double up the 750. Didn't know it. Basically worked all day, said goodbye to Jack and Josh. So that was even more sad to not to be able to hang out with my friends. And then I had to hang out with my wife for the other 2 days or day and a half. Jeez. No, just kidding. I loved every moment of it. We did go to the taqueria in Venetian food court. Really liked it. Have you been there? Is that one you've tried, Jack?
That's the only one I've tried besides Hell and Ray's, and I thought it was really good. It's one of those ones where it's a very high filling to shell ratio. The taco shells aren't all that big, but they pack a bunch of stuff in there. I thought that was great.
Yep. And then we decided to get on out of Venetian / Palazzo for the first time in 48 hours. In fact, this is Kim's first time leaving because we had dinner at Gymkhana. We got there a little early, so I decided to check out Lift Bar because we had talked about kind of the quote unquote main casino bar at Aria on our last episode. And so we went to the Lift Bar. They had kind of your basic Ultimate X, what you would expect at MGM properties outside of Cosmo. So
which is that everything sucks except for that double doubles 8-5.
They do have the 8-5 double double, which is what I played.
Yeah.
I lost about $300. We only played for like 15 minutes. They will comp your first drink even like before your light goes on. So their policy is they give you your first drink comped and then, it's light. I didn't ask for like what the limits were. Kim ordered a Grey Goose martini with like a twist and they comped that, which I thought was a decent thing to comp at that bar. So I'm not sure if there's a dollar amount or whatever, but it seemed pretty reasonable.
I find it so interesting, just that concept of, okay, we implemented this light system because we're sick of kind of the deadbeats that just pretend to play in order to get a free drink. And it's like, who's going to take advantage of the fact that the first drink is free without really playing and then move on to the next bar and do the same thing? These exact people, like the exact clientele that you think you can't try, you're worried about serving them free drinks. Your policy bends to help them exactly because they're the exact people that are just going to move on to the next bar after they've gotten their one free drink. I don't know. Strikes me as very odd.
I also don't know if that's like a policy or if that's just like the bartender's like, I don't want to deal with it, so I'm going to give you one drink and then I'm not going to give you another one until your light comes on.
For their staff, it's certainly a reasonable policy. I don't want to be like, I don't necessarily know if there's a better way. It sucks if you have to be the bartender that like someone sits down and orders a drink and be like, oh, I see you're playing. Why don't you like really play and then we'll talk? It's like that sucks. That's bad customer service. And so I'm glad that they're not making them do that. But it does seem kind of weird that like there's a lot of bars in town where if you did want to be one of these like fleas, for lack of a better word, you can just go flea it up wherever you want still.
Yeah.
Anyway,
be a barfly for sure. So I went to Gymkhana.
Ooh.
We got in there. It's great. Got to my seat, and Kim was going to sit in the booth. Kim was going to sit in the booth. I was going to sit in the chair. The chair was kind of pulled out a little bit, so I went to scoot my chair in, and my right hand slipped off of the handle, and I punched the table like as hard as I could. I am not joking. I thought I broke my hand. Like it started throbbing in pain and I couldn't like close my hand. And I looked at Kim and my eyes are like tearing up. I'm like, I think I broke my hand. And she's like, I'm not taking you to the ER here. We're eating dinner first for sure.
That's definitely a wife.
Luckily it got better. It's still like, it's sore. Like it is bruised pretty bad. It's not broken. Thank God.
You think it's, we were getting a text from James. James is like, I'm pretty sure I broke it. And then Kim is like, not doing that tonight.
I'm so glad I didn't because
she
dinner
was
basically awesome.
She was telling us that we're not allowed to have any sympathy for you. Like she was jumping in there, be like, no, he's eating.
She was laughing at me. And then I would just be like, I almost spilled my cocktail because I went to grab it and I had so much pain that I like shook a little bit. And she laughed at that. And then every now and then I would just be like, like breathe in.
Whatever happened to in sickness and in health? I don't know, James.
Right. I know. No, she was not. She was not there.
Not while eating.
She wanted not while eating. Not Gymkhana. It was really good. We did get the lamb chops for $95, and you were right, totally worth it. They're not overhyped. I think they are perfectly hyped. And the beef short rib pepper fry. That's where I got that short rib from when I was talking earlier, which was a great curry, as well as an appetizer and some sag after that. It was great. Loved it. A couple cocktails. It was $300 for the two of us. 2 cocktails, an appetizer, a couple mains, and a side, and tip was exactly $300. So like, you're going to pay for it. You're going to pay $150 a person. I think it's one of those, we didn't finish everything. I think it is one of those places where if you go with 4, 5, 6 people, the more people you get, it's actually going to be cheaper per person, because you're going to be able to order all these kind of family style things and get to try a lot of things, and only, and pay a lot less than $150 a person. And this is our last night in Vegas. So we stopped by Vidara. Wait, why are you going to Vidara on your last night? Oh, because I double booked, so that way I could get $150 food credit to use at Gymkhana. And we had the 1-bedroom loft. Have either of you ever stayed in or been in the 1-bedroom loft?
No, it looks great though.
The nicest room I've had at Vidara is like a panoramic suite or whatever, which is just like a slightly more corner suite.
It was so nice. And we would have moved over there to sleep there, but Kim had driven in from Southern California, so we would have had to move the rental car, and we're like, this is just going to be easier to leave everything at Palazzo, because I still had Palazzo for the last night. So we went in the room, checked it out, got a video of it, took some pictures, hung out for like a half hour, messed up the bed a little bit to make it seem like someone stayed there, pulled a chair out here or there, took the free Fiji
Be careful
waters
pulling these chairs out.
Yeah, and you definitely fooled them with all the planning you did in there.
Some housekeeper's going to go to scoop that chair back in, and it's not going to go well for them.
Going to break her hand, probably. But we had a date with the Chandelier Bar. I had been texting with listener Jeff, Aggie Warrior, since he was in town. And I was like, hey, we're going to go to the Chandelier Bar after Gymkhana's. And Gymkhana was 90 minutes. We were out exactly 90 minutes from our reservation time. We had a 5:30. We were out at 7. And it didn't seem rushed, but it also didn't seem like, obviously it wasn't rushed. It was 90 minutes, but it didn't seem that long. I was surprised that I was like, oh, I thought it was going to be more like an hour. So we got over there, and I tell you what, I have never been on a run like this in video poker.
Fucking guy.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, so Jeff's sitting to my right, Kim's sitting to my left. They're both just losing, playing quarter or 50 cent 3-line. They're just losing. And I'm like, okay, I'm doing pretty well on the trip. I don't want to really go too hard, but there is 9-5, 50 cents double. So I said, I'm going to put $1,000 in here, and that will go pretty quickly. I'm going to do that. And if it goes down to nothing, I'll put another $1,000 in. I'll go back to my bonus poker, and that'll be it for the night, because we'll just go back to sleep. We have to wake up early. Our flight's at 8 a.m. in the morning. It's been a great trip, down a couple $1,000. Wonderful. I'm going into this trip saying I'm probably going to lose $5,000 to $6,000. That's what I had budgeted. It's my last Vegas trip till September. So I say, okay, I'll put $1,000 in. And I start losing. I'm down to like 500. I hit like a $600 quad. So I'm back up to even, going down a little bit. And then I get 4 threes with a kicker. Jack wins the rest, the side pot so we kept the side bet going after that one. And it wasn't that much. I think I owed Jack $100 on this time.
The pot got up to above 300, which was pretty nice for me. And to win that in absentia was pretty cool.
Yeah, Jack's already back in Minneapolis.
But it is the beauty of it, is that we're like, well, this money's already in the pot. Like, we could just like distribute it out fairly, or we'll just see if James resolves it, kind of thing.
Yep. And I did. Now, this time I was 50 cents double, and it was a 4x. It was a 3x, so it was a $1,200 win. So I was perfectly fine with giving you $100. Then probably 10 minutes later, I get dealt 4 to the Royal on,
oh, God.
I think it was 2-2-2. Yeah, it was 2-2-2. So it's after I just had a pair. I film it. So I have the ace, king, jack, 10 of diamonds. And I'm like, I'm going to film this. And I don't know why in my head I was looking for the 10 of diamonds, which I already had, but that is what was in my head. So I'm filming it, and I press it, and it's like nothing, queen of diamonds on the top. But because my brain was looking for a 10 of diamonds, I just kind of sat there, and then it starts going off of music, and I'm like, oh, that's a royal flush.
Oh my God.
And so $4,000 royal. And I was like, oh, sweet. This is awesome. And I'm excited. And Darrell is there, high-fiving, give another 20 in the tip jar. Start playing a little more. Kim's still losing, but she's doing fine because I'm winning some money. And by some money, I mean a good amount of money. My ticket's staying pretty easy. And then probably 15 minutes later, I get 4 aces, 3x, not a kicker, but it's still $1,200. That brings my balance back up. At this point, Kim is getting cold because she was right underneath a vent. She had just the dress on that she had wore to dinner. And she's like, I'm getting cold. I'm like, okay, just go buy a sweatshirt. Like, I'm up for the trip. I'm going to be up thousands of dollars.
I'm not leaving this session.
Go buy a sweatshirt. Try not to like spend all of our money. She's like, it's only going to be like $50. And I'm like, Kim, the sweatshirts at our theater that we own, we sell for $50. They're going to be a lot more. Yeah, she comes back with $130 sweatshirt.
Good sweatshirt,
just a basic sweatshirt that says the Cosmopolitan Las Vegas on the front. And then I forget what it says on the back. Something like, life is good, whatever a basic statement is.
Vineyard
Some
vines.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, she comes back with the sweatshirt. And we're playing. Jeff leaves at this point. So now it's just Kim and I. And after I had gotten the royal flush, I was like, I need something a little stronger than just these high nudes I'm drinking, because now we're having a good time. So got an old fashioned. And then after I got those 3 aces with the 3X, like, give me another old fashioned. Here's another $40 in the tip jar. I'm like, this is great. We're playing. All of a sudden, I hear the sound of getting something dealt. And it is ace, 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 9. So I'm dealt 9. 4 aces.
I know, live right? For the dealt with a kicker.
I was live for the dealt with the kicker. And this is on a 4-3-1. So this is on 8x. So the minimum, right? The minimum I'm winning here is going to be $32.
$400
right?
aces times 8. Yeah.
400 times 8, right? So I'm like, this is amazing. But I am live for 8,000. And I'm like, give me one kicker. And so again, the same thing, like Darrell and Nicole, the other bartender that was there, who's also awesome, are sitting there watching. And I'm like, 4-3-1. I'm like, even if I just get it on one, it's fine. Like, just give me one of them. I hit it, first line, I get the kicker.
Nice.
So that first line's 4,000. I whiff on the next 2, which afterwards I was like, but it was 5,600. It's my biggest hand pay by far.
Insane.
So there's you can be happy for your friends who win while they're gambling, but like up to a point.
Yeah.
And then once it reaches like a certain point, you cease to be happy for them, and you're just like, you know what, this piece of shit really needs.
You're apoplectic about it.
Yeah,
you're so apoplectic. I had another old fashioned. So then I had my third old fashioned after kind of drinking all day. And it was such a great time. You
were like, great. Buy another sweatshirt, Kim.
I was like, get another sweatshirt. I don't care. About 10 hands later after
sweatshirt.
That, after about 10 hands after that, I got dealt 4 diamonds again to the Royal. Like, I was dealt 4 to the Royal again. And I was on 3-3-3. And I'm like, if I hit this for 6,000, I'm going to just lose it. I'm going to run around this place. I think I'm going to
buy the bar round of sweatshirts. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I did not. I whiffed on it. But
they all got quarter zips instead.
Ended up on this video poker session. Yes, it's 50 cents double bonus. But like, it's not like I'm playing dollars or $2. I ended up winning $12,125 on one video poker session, maybe 2.5 hours. I couldn't believe it. It'll never happen again. There's no way. This is going to be the trip that I remember of like, it's like the hour-long craps roll, right? That you get once in a lifetime, which I have not had.
I feel like the second week of your birthday trip went like this too, but.
Well, it was like 3,000 win here and then another 3,000 like the next day.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
It wasn't
over
one session.
Yeah,
that's just
enough.
Like everything.
And we've had this hypothetical come up in the show of people asking, like, would you want this situation to happen, right? Of kind of hanging tight or even losing a bit throughout the trip, and then the last session just kind of going off. And so how did that feel overall?
Oh, it was amazing. And I think if I would have done that at the very beginning, I think I would have been nervous the entire time that I was going to just lose it all back.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think at the very end hitting it it was great. That wasn't technically the last thing we did. We went back to I was like, I want to throw some dice. So we went back to Palazzo. We played craps and then crapless for about an hour and a half. Had a really fun time. It's just Kim and I, other people at the table, obviously, but we're just chilling, continuing to drink. Lost $500, and it was great. It was the best $500 I ever lost because I'm like, I'm just going to play. I didn't like up my bets or anything. I was just playing the extremes on crapless. I was, playing my, $25 come bets. Actually, it was a $15 table, even better. We played a $15 craps table. So the day total ended up winning $9,271 that day, which meant my trip total, drum roll please, a $10,645 win for the trip.
Boom. Pad that bankroll.
Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
That's him clapping for himself to our
listeners.
Oh, I'm so fucking.
Jack and I did not clap.
It is so.
It turns out our limit is 10 grand to being happy.
Anything over 10, they're pissed at me.
Yeah, once you get to those digits, then we're 9,000. We'll clap for you, but 10 now it's too much.
I will say it also felt really good after getting that $5,600 hand pay to just throw 100 in the tip glass for Darrell and Nicole. I was like, this is what you're getting now.
Mm-hmm.
And they left that one in there the entire time. I think just so other people would be like, oh, people are tipping 100.
Smart move.
So anyways, that was my long/not short not long trip report. I got excited for the last day. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, it makes sense why. Jack, anything else to add? I mean, this was quite a trip for both of you. And again,
for some of us more than others, but
I was not there.
No, I think that covers it. I think I got out everything I needed to get out, so to speak.
Well, I hope this good luck continues on for our trips this year, because we still have quite a few coming up, including me later this week when this episode drops. So we'll end it there, though. I think we're going to come in at close to an hour and a half, I think, for this trip report. So you all got what you wished for. So finishing up episode 28, Volume 1, I'm Adam the Fraud, joined by Boring Jack and the very wealthy now Table James Games. Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Later.